So we're in mid-August 2025. There's a status update for the PageKey unit. We're getting close to the MVP that I can sell to you, and you can try it out. So what are we doing today? I'm speaking words at you, starting with the progress and what we've done so far, and then the path to MVP so that this can be sold and it can actually add some value to your life. And then we're going to do a demo, which is the fun part. You can see the user interface so far and the hosting setup that I have. So you may have seen the short that I posted a few days ago about accessing the LLM Assistant MVP from hundreds of miles away via Tailscale. That worked out well, but then I moved on to start to put my money where my mouth is. I used a pfSense router to create a secure network for self-hosting and then put the unit on that network and port forwarded it so it's on the open internet, which is crazy. It makes me scared. Tailscale is a nice VPN, so you don't have to worry about all that stuff, but my poor little unit is out there for everyone to see, for hackers to try to hack into, all that stuff. But hey, starting to put my money where my mouth is. The only way that this is really going to work is if people can access each other's units. So there's definitely a cybersecurity risk to that, but we're going to have to accept that risk and move into this brave new world of people taking control of their technology. I also created a simple user interface, which you will see in a moment. So here's my plan. MVP, I've used this term in different ways. Right now, I mean something that I can sell you and you can open the box and be happy because, wow, useful product in box, okay? So how do we get there? I think the bare minimum 3 apps that I need to include on this thing are dynamic IP so that you can host your stuff on the internet, which I recently found out you need that. Updating so that I can push software updates and you can get them very easily so that I can continue to add value to this product after you've already bought it. And then website, I think that's the best MVP, is that anyone can host their own website on this thing. It's just so simple, and it's used for other things too. If you wanted to share files with people, you could just put them out there with no access control. And we'll get to the more complicated stuff later. So in the future, of course, we can have that LLM assistant that we saw before. We can have storage, we can have users, and I have some ideas for how to make these apps in such a way that it's highly configurable by a non-technical audience. So you don't have to know how to code. You can see how these things work. You can tweak them very easily. I have an idea for that, so I'm working on that. But we'll start with just that website, host your own website. And if you're a true believer that all this is going to come later, then I would encourage you to, order one or pre-order right now. Otherwise, you can wait and see, and we'll keep building. We will certainly keep building. So again, putting my money where my mouth is, I want to host PageKey.io on my personal unit using these apps. So exactly the same thing that I'm selling to you, I want to use to host my website that you can see at PageKey.io. Currently it's on GitHub Pages, but we're not there yet. So soon it'll be on the unit. And then I'm going to be selling, certainly not my strong suit, but I'm going to try my best and also add more features. So here's the user interface that I have so far. I'll share it on my screen. Okay, so here's the home screen for the PageKey Unit UI. You just get a nice little welcome and you can pick an app. Here are the 3 apps that I mentioned that I think are the first 3 to implement. They don't really do anything yet, but each has a description. And if you click Manage, and there's this stopped thing, which is hard-coded because it implies that eventually you'll have to start and stop this yourself. I think, as users of this brave new world, we have to take a little bit more responsibility and manage services instead of just apps. So this is called an app, but eventually it's going to have a start and stop. I'm also leaving it open to different implementations. Hopefully we can have an abstract interface for this. If that doesn't ring a bell, don't worry about it. But if other people can provide their implementations to do the same exact task, I think that's great to leave that open. Also, we have stores, processes, and views. I think defining these explicitly and letting you switch them out, if you would like, is a big part of my idea for like a more open way to interact with text. So stores are where you store data. Processes are things that you do with that data or interacting with the rest of the world, whatever. And of course, views, you can click and see this main view. That is where you see what's going on with your app. So different ways of viewing all of this stuff. So maybe all of this will be hidden in a little gear icon eventually, but for now it's just on the main page of the application, and this is all we got. And then they all basically look the same. So you have the website here too. It has some fake processes that don't do anything yet, and that's about it. So very simple UI, very different from the previous one that I had with the QR code and the changing the Wi-Fi around, all that stuff. It's evolved a lot, but I think it's a solid foundation, and I'm going to keep building this. So stay tuned. Next, let's check out the hosting setup that I have that will look probably similar to what you end up with when you buy your unit and set it up in your house. All right, let's take a look at this hardware setup. As you can see, it's literally in my closet. So you can see all my shirts here, and this is what's going on. Now, don't get too attached to this guy because this is the actual computer that I'm intending to sell to you. It's a little bit, smaller, but basically does the same thing. I just had this guy lying around, so I used it for prototyping. But what we have here is this is my router from my ISP. So, I pay for internet, and they give me internet through this little guy, and then the internet comes out and it goes into this pfSense router that I configured myself. So that's not something I'm intending to sell yet, but maybe eventually. It's just an extra layer of security. It let me put this guy on his own virtual network where he cannot see this guy at all. It just routes traffic through him to my ISP and out to the internet. So if this guy gets hacked, which is, I'm just assuming it's dirty at this point, it's been on the internet, somebody probably has the root access to this thing, then they can't even see this to hack it, which if they hacked this, then maybe they could talk to other devices on my network and hack them too. So we don't want that. We had to isolate this guy if he's really going to be on the internet. But anyway, this is the nuke. So this is the thing that you're going to log into and host all of your services and get that UI up and all that stuff. So that's about all I got.